Well, welcome to day 12 of our Seeing Jesus Challenge. And today we read about the blind man who had been born blind, and yet people were asking why. And Jesus healed him. But when we think about that question, why, I want us to recognize that it's a natural question. It comes naturally to all of us. Every parent has been through experiencing those years with his children where it seemed like every word out of their mouth was the word why. Why is the sky blue? Why is grass green? Why this and why that? And every parent's resorted at some point to the phrase because, or because I said so. And yet here's the thing, asking why is natural because it's a way of learning. We gather information and facts and data and understanding when we ask why. Most of the great accomplishments, most of the great inventions, most of the great insights that we've had in human history have been because we asked the question why and sought answers in those directions. And so why is natural, and it's natural even in our spiritual journey when we're in the midst of difficult circumstances and situations and troubles and trials. It's very natural to ask the question why. And we have lots of reasons for asking the question why in that case. And we don't have time this morning to go over all of them. We ask why, though, because we want to make sure it never happens to us again. We want to ask why because we want to know if we did something wrong and we want to avoid that mistake. We ask why because, we want to know there's a reason behind everything that's happening. It isn't just some chance or circumstance. Even though the Bible says we don't live under chance or circumstance. So we ask why, and it's natural, but I want us to see that it's not the right question. See, asking why is the wrong question for a couple of reasons. One, it's wrong because God doesn't always give us the answer to why. God doesn't always share that. Jesus doesn't share it about this blind man. He says, it wasn't that his parents were sinful. It wasn't that he was sinful. And really what he says is, that's not the issue. The issue is, what am I going to do now? And you go back and you think about Job. We know why Job went through all those horrible things at the beginning of the book of Job, but Job didn't. And when he asked God why, which is basically the bulk of the book of Job, he's trying to figure out why. God never gives him an answer. When God does speak, he doesn't give Job an answer. He just says, Job, you got to trust me. I'm a big enough God that you need to trust me. And so we can ask why, but very seldom does God give the answer to why. And here's the second reality. Even if we knew the answer, it wouldn't change our circumstances. We'd still be in the midst of those situations. We'd still be in the midst of that difficulty or that hardship. And so understanding why doesn't change that. It doesn't fix that. So what I want to suggest, that the question that we need to ask is not why. The right question is the one that Jesus answered, which is, what now? I'm here. I'm in the midst of the circumstance. I'm in the midst of the situation. How I got here is not that as important as what is God going to do in my life now, and what am I going to allow God to do in my life now? That's what Jesus says about this man. It didn't matter why he was born blind. It didn't matter if it was him or his parents. It wasn't either one, really. But now that Jesus was there, what mattered was, what was Jesus going to do, and how was this man's life going to be different because Jesus and his path had crossed. And that's the question we need to ask. God, I'm here. It's not somewhere I necessarily want to be. And I can spend all my time asking why so that I can, avoid doing this ever again. But the real thing is, what now? I'm here. So what do you want to do now? Don't let me miss the lesson you want me to learn and understand and see in this experience. Don't let me miss the opportunity to bring glory to you by how I react and respond and allow you to work in this situation. So I don't know where life is going to take you today. Might run you into some problems. It's going to come very natural to ask the question why, but instead try asking what now. Have a great day.